welcome to the First Issue Club comic book podcast. We're your weekly reading club for first issues, new and exciting comic book stuff that's coming out, and talking the news, chatting what's up, what's relevant, what's recent, what's poppin'. New. Content. Fill my brain with tent, baby.
Are you stalling?
You're looking at your phone.
I'm bidding on something.
Okay.
I'm shocked that with all of that, with everything you just gave us, Greg has not made a song yet. We had no songs last week.
Yeah, by the way, I'm back.
Last week we promised Double Greg this week.
Double Greg.
The rare phenomena where you miss an episode and come back twice as steamed.
Well, here's what happened. I did come back as Double Greg, but I flooded the engine, and now I'm
I'm
stalled out.
Okay, got it. You got to build back up.
It's good to be back.
Okay.
I don't have any songs for anyone. I realized listening to last week's episode, I'm genuinely the Robin Williams of First Issue Club, and I can just burst into character whenever, and I do at my leisure, and it's lovely.
Yeah, I mean, we were just in sad doldrums last week.
It's true.
Yeah, right. You guys were in love.
How do you say that word?
Ennui.
The ennui of this studio was just
Just a malaise of melancholy.
gray as it's ever been.
Well, your little ray of sunshine's back.
Great. I loved being here too, Mike. It was so much fun.
Andy's like, I got some one-on-one time with Mike D. It was great.
Vargas, we'll talk about this later. Can we not do this on the show right now?
Are you quiet quitting?
Okay, so we're going to start things off with some personal news, some eBay finds.
Yeah, we don't have a name for this segment yet.
eBay updates.
That we have a name now. That was easy.
Adventures in eBay.
Okay.
What was yours?
Yeah, what do you got, eBay?
Mine isn't even like a big get. I actually lost this. But we had talked about previously in an episode how Sex Criminals 13 was like a polybagged book with the potential of having a sketch on there from Matt Fraction or Chip Zdarsky.
Yes.
And so
I think it was 11.
11, sorry. And so I thought after the episode was recorded, a fun idea for the Patreon would to go to eBay and buy a bunch and open them live on the Patreon to see if we got one.
Yeah.
And so I found this guy on eBay who had a lot, and he was selling them individually for $20.
Sure.
And I was like, no.
So much money.
I was like, no, thank you. So I messaged the guy, and because the listing had been up for a while. It wasn't an auction. It was just like, here's a listing of books. So I messaged him. I was like, listen, you got 4 books here. They've been up for a while. I'll buy the whole lot for $30. And he was like, well, I don't know. It's kind of low. And I was like, okay, but do you want $30? Like, it's been up for a long. This is guaranteed $30. And then he was like, well, if you bought all 4, it would up you to priority shipping, which would be $10. And so I was like, okay, fine. I will pay $40.
Yeah.
Essentially $10 a book. I'm still overpaying for these things.
Yeah.
Big time.
You could get them in stores
$2.99
for a year after they were out for like $3.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right, but I was committed to the bit.
Yes.
I was like, I want to do this for the gang.
Your chances of getting one are so low.
And I was like, with 4 of them, maybe we'll hit, maybe not. And the guy was just like, no, I think you're lowballing me here. I was just like, I think you are overinflating what you have, sir or ma'am. And so it went back and forth for a little bit. He got a little chippy, and then I was just like, you know what? We're done. I gave you an opportunity for to get rid of these and unload them, but no dice.
If you're not interested, all you have to do is just stop responding to somebody.
Yeah.
You don't have to have an ongoing conversation of like why someone's screwing you or hasn't even screwed you, has like the potential to screw you.
We're just having a conversation, and he's already just like, he thinks I'm in his house rifling through his items.
Just disappear from the internet.
Yeah.
If you don't want to sell them.
So I'm bummed because I wanted to get them to open because I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
But people on eBay are wild.
I had a similar experience. I was trying to get the glow-in-the-dark variant of We Only Find Them When They're Dead. And I found a listing for like $20 or whatever. And I was like, I'm not going to pay, right? So they had make an offer. So I made an offer for like,
It's my favorite button on eBay.
I made an offer for like 15. Like, knock $5 off, right? That covers the cost of shipping,
Sure.
whatever. And he counter offered with 20, the price that he like originally had it listed. And I responded with, why have make an offer if you're not going to sell it for less than what you listed it? And he just stopped responding.
Yeah,
He
see, there's
didn't
the
say
proper
anything
way to
back.
do that.
Yeah,
'cause
that's the way you handle
He's
it.
like, fuck off.
But like,
No.
why do that?
That's
No,
happened to me tons of times.
That is funny. I've seen things. I've made offers on things that were like over $100, and for like $10 under, $20 under, and people will come back and knock $1 off.
Right, and it's like, nope, we're not doing
Yeah.
Right.
this. We're not doing this.
Why have the button? Like,
Because they want traction, and they like people will see make offer and then
You're more
they
likely
think
to
they'll
save
hook
it,
'em.
maybe.
Yeah.
Put it on your watch list.
However, the make an offer thing, and I think I've spoke about this, has backfired on me more than enough. Like the
Why, as a buyer or a seller?
as a buyer, because the slab of Jubilee that I had was originally $70,
Okay.
and I was like joking around. I was like, make an offer. I put 40 in, and the guy's like, okay, and I was like, fuck.
Oh, you didn't actually want to buy
Well, I
it?
wasn't intending on buying it. You know,
You just thought it would get declined.
right? I was just like, let's see what kind of game I can play with this person.
Well, it sounds like you got a good deal on it then.
yeah.
I did, and I'm not mad about it, but
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting the check mark of okay, yeah, that seems fair, and
Yeah.
so
I did the same. That's how I got my Black Cat first appearance. I offered somebody like $100 under, thinking like there's no
holy
way.
cow,
Hell yeah.
And I got a 7.5 for around $300, which is like great for that comic.
yeah. They're like, get rid of it. It is cursed. It's been haunting my family.
It came with this monkey paw. It was really weird.
Okay, so I stumbled across a great find today on my lunch break, which was a lot of early 70s Iron Man comics. And in this lot was Iron Man 54, which is a first appearance of Moondragon.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And this was one of those things, and this is one of my tried and true methods of getting deals on eBay is looking at or through lots, because a lot of times people may have a book in there that is noteworthy, and because you've listed it as like generic Iron Man lot or Iron Man 50 through 60,
Yeah.
people are searching 54 specifically, right?
Right, so
To
they'll
find that book.
go
So
right
it's just
over it.
not coming up in sales. So I got about 6 Iron Man books in the 50s that
Yeah.
were 1971, 72
Uh-huh.
for $70.
That's a good price.
Yeah.
So that shakes out to what, like $12 each.
Mhm.
And one of them's a Moondragon first appearance that like, this is one of those things too where it's like the pictures weren't amazing of the comics. It looked like it could maybe be an 8.5,
Uh-huh.
which if it's anywhere in the neighborhood of that,
Yeah. It's a good deal.
then it's
Yeah.
a great deal.
Yeah.
If it comes up and it's a little beat up and tattered, I don't think I'd return these. I think I'd just say, oh well.
Well, it's a great deal and something that you're collecting first appearances of
Marvel women.
Marvel women.
Yep.
And the likelihood of her showing up in a movie or a TV show is, I would say, relatively high. She's gotten popular.
It goes up every year.
Yeah.
Right? The likelihood of any individual character showing up goes up and up and up.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I think she's definitely one of those characters that if you Googled like women of Marvel,
Mm-hmm. She'd be there.
She's in the first 20 characters
Definitely
listed.
first 20, without a doubt.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So that's a big one for me. She was, I don't think she had the name Moondragon yet.
But
even
she appeared.
in this comic, but she appeared, and the character like later gets that name and changes the outfit a little bit. But really great, obscure, weird first appearance that
Not a lot of people have.
I keep my eyes out for, and always seems like it's way overpriced for what that character is, and it's probably just because it is a little more of an obscure first appearance. But
That's dope.
super stoked to have landed on it.
That's dope. And I bet if you really wanted to, you could sell the other books in that lot and make your money back.
I could probably post that listing a little better.
Yeah.
And,
Well, piecemeal them out. Like
yeah,
sell
do
them
them one
by
at a time.
You just sell it back to the same guy for double the money.
$15 an issue.
Man, this is really easy to make money doing comics.
So yeah, I haven't even looked at those other issues to see if anything relevant happens in them. I don't think so, but
Was Demon in a Bottle one of them?
I don't.
God, if only. No,
That's
that was like 103 or something. I'm pretty sure it was in the
That's the
hundreds.
classic cover where
Oh,
like he's
no,
looking
no,
in the
no.
mirror and looks just washed out from all the alcohol.
These are way before that.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a badass cover.
Yep.
If you can find it.
You guys know my eBay story because I sent it in the
You sold the ghost.
in the chat. I made a joke in our group chat that I want to get something at a 10, just so I can say I
Yes.
had a 10. So I was looking at eBay for 10.0 comics, and there was a Tales of Suspense 12 or whatever the hell it is, the first appearance of Iron Man, at a 10.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck is this? I almost had a heart attack. So anyway, I took a closer look, and what it ended up being was a slabbed piece of silver that had that cover printed on it that Marvel has been selling as collectibles. And I found more of them.
So is it actual like silver,
Yeah.
like the metal?
The metal silver.
Like when the economy crumbles, you can crack that slab open. And,
Correct.
Use it as actual
Yeah,
currency.
you can buy water or
Correct.
food rations.
You can buy guzzling because we're all in Mad Max.
silver as in the metal.
mother's milk.
Yes.
Everyone.
Mediocre. Yeah, but I almost had a heart attack thinking that somebody somewhere had found a 10.0 first appearance of Iron Man.
Which
Impossible.
Impossible. Yes,
like
exactly.
Non-existent.
not like that would be worth in the millions just because it's a 10.0.
Yeah,
Easy.
but that's why I was like, "What? What is this?"
and you were just like, it's only $200.
Well, because the first thing I was like, "Oh, it's a facsimile," and then the price was the 20-cent price, and that's when it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You went all Looney Tunes of blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, exactly. So
You busted a Vargas-sized hole through the wall.
I mean, it was wild. My emotions were all over the place.
Really went the whole roller coaster of emotions on that one.
Yeah. So if anything out there exists, you can find it on eBay. If you're a big fan of precious metals and Iron Man,
And CGC,
yeah.
do we have a listing for you?
Yeah.
It's funny that they'd even slab that.
That's what and
Just a piece of metal shaped like a comic. That's wild.
here's the wild part is it came in like a display box that the slab went in.
It said Sharpie on cover.
It was like it was sold like
Maybe CGC manufactured it with them or
I
something.
think
Yeah.
there must have been a deal
Yeah.
between Marvel and them.
Yeah.
well, Marvel and them and whatever company does the silver stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's a big three-way
Whatever
of
kills
capitalism.
werewolves.
Yeah. God.
Thank you.
We missed you, Greg.
Yeah, we are what? Almost 10 minutes in and no songs.
Good on ya.
He's got no music in his heart. Music in
Folks,
his
that's
heart.
Vargas, not Greg. Double Greg. I think Double Greg is normal. I think I've overshot it.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you flooded the engine.
I did. But on the back half, I'm going to be completely zany.
All right. So I have one news thing in particular that I think by the time this episode comes out, this might be discussed to all hell.
Oh, I love it.
I
I love when we're on the back half of breaking
yeah,
news.
that we're the back end of it. Peek
You
behind
guys
the-
hear about Bane?
In any case, drama about the Joker pregnancy.
Ah, yes.
You've heard all about
why
this.
is that such a big deal?
It's really funny. Some of the quotes I was seeing from Fox and Friends were
Oh, there's your problem.
hilarious.
Truth.com hated it.
Is it from the Joker ongoing? One presumes.
So it's one of the mini stories in the back of that.
Yeah.
You know how they do like the little short, goofier bits
Sure.
in the back? That's what it is.
You know, a comic.
So it's definitely out of canon. It's meant to be silly.
As anyone who reads comic books knows, like,
Exactly
and
right.
presumes.
Just a fun quote from this Fox and Friends segment was, "No longer the Joker, now he's the woker." Loved that.
Yeah.
Joke her was right there.
Yeah.
And they went with woker.
They called this sick and disgusting.
Well, yeah. And that's what makes it funny.
Accused the comic book market of doubling down on woke.
Dig it. Hell yeah.
And then said they've had several guests on who have said no one buys these comic books because they're tired of the wokeness of comics. Now, having said all this, here's what happened in this comic book that everyone's mad about. Presumably because Joker being pregnant means he's trans.
Sure.
That's why people are like upset.
That's the line they're connecting.
In the comic, which I think Matthew Rosenberg has been writing those little backups. I love him. So in this comic, Joker gets cursed by Zatanna, who says, "No one else will ever have your baby." And so he wakes up with a huge belly and then later pukes like a Clayface thing. So ultimately, he had a stomach full of Clayface and puked it up. And then that clay took the form of him. And he was like, "My baby boy."
Yes.
So multiple layers there. So he wasn't actually pregnant.
He was never actually pregnant. He looked bloated.
He was just full of mud.
And they made jokes about him being pregnant because he was cursed by Zatanna. Never, not even like, let's say that
He did get pregnant.
that they do make the Joker a trans character, or the Joker does literally get pregnant.
Sure.
Still, who cares?
Yeah.
Still.
I agree. No one's arguing with you.
And I know, but it's just the fact that they discuss it with such ferocity and people get so pissed off about it, and how much it's not a thing, and to have these talking heads like
it's also not woke.
not at all. The guy who like played Conan, Sorbo.
Kevin Sorbo, that piece of shit.
And then the guy who used to play
Dean
Superman, Dean Cain, like they have those guys on every once in a while, and they're like, no one buys comics anymore because they hate how woke they're getting.
Oh my god,
those guys are the furthest from
comic books,
comic book experts.
Just once, I want them to call me and like
they have
me come on.
No clue what these storylines or details are even sniffing.
Well, and don't you just want to be the guy who? I wish I had the ability to call in and be like, "Hey, what issue of the Joker is this?" so I can avoid it. And when they're like, "We have no idea," be like, "Oh, okay."
All of them.
Yeah, that makes me so irritated.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, if the Joker had given birth to like a machine gun, they wouldn't have had an issue. The far right would have been like, "That's gotta kick ass." Like, he's a real villain. But
I could shit out a machine gun.
because it was like it came out as like anthropomorphic and like a humanoid. Like they're just like, nope, this is the liberal left.
I'm sure
mafia media.
I'm sure what pissed everybody off was just the visual of the Joker looking
with a belly.
pregnant.
Yeah,
like that.
Then I have to advise him to stay off Google Images. Because there's some creepy shit out there.
Yeah, never look up Sonic fanfic.
Yeah, fat Harry Potter. Stay away from that.
I know Marvel announced its free comic book day titles.
They're all free.
I don't think there's many like surprises. Like every year they do like or the last few years anyway, they've done like a Spider-Man / Venom crossover thing, and then like an X-Men Avengers thing. Apparently there's what's so funny already.
I think I just had the idea of a funny bit of someone misunderstanding free comic book day and then just like going to any comic book store just like, "Oh my god, these are all free," and then just like loading up with comics and just walking out like, "This day's awesome. Once a year I just make out like a bandit."
You should do that.
Yeah.
At your next
This was workshop that bit. How'd it land for you?
I didn't laugh, if you noticed.
It takes a while. It's a thinker.
Yep. I love stealing from local comic shops.
Oh, I
Great.
think the joke is the person who did it is stupid.
Okay, well.
That's the end of the bit. Is somebody walks out and is like, "Hey, dum dum,
Yeah, a policeman comes out and he's just like, tut tut. And
justice is served."
And then they explain what Free Comic Book Day is, and everyone has hot chocolate.
Great.
Is that better?
Sure.
Okay.
I can't wait to stage this with you.
This stage direction.
This elaborate, convoluted storyline that's like going to be live performance art.
You can be the cop.
That's great. I'll dress up as the
We'll
cop.
give you a Joker gun.
In any case, well, I did see that like we're supposed to find out some stuff about Spider-Man's costume. Who cares? The big thing is that I think we're finally going to figure out, or it was teased that we're going to figure out what the deal is with the Hickman secret project that Marvel's been teasing for like a year now.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I totally forgot about it until I read this today that we're going to find out more details on it on Free Comic Book Day.
Any guesses?
So they showed some art from it, or some like some of the pre-design pages like back in October maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And they look like alternative, dressed down, more casual versions of characters. Like one was Doctor Strange. It looked like dressed up like a hipster. And the other one was, I think, Jubilee,
Yep.
who, again, was more dressed down and casual. But you could tell, like, she had the signature yellow jacket and, like, a pink headband to kind of, like, reflect the shades. So it might be some sort of, like, weird alternate real-world scenario wherein some of your favorite characters are, like, normal, everyday people. I don't know.
Maybe we're getting like Marvels too. That Alex Ross series.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
We haven't had like a Secret Defenders storyline in a while.
That's
or
true.
a Secret Avengers.
But yeah, it seems like a weird mishmash of characters.
Mm-hmm.
One of the characters looked like it might have been Emma Frost.
What are the odds that they're giving Hickman Miracle Man?
Oh,
I think low.
You
yeah.
think so? You think that's
Have they
still
not already-
Donny Cates' thing?
Didn't he make a post a while ago where he bought the like original cover for Miracle Man or something?
Yeah.
So I think people have been
Who
like,
did?
Donny
Cates.
Cates did.
Donny Cates bought like the original cover?
Yeah.
I think so, or something like that. And then I think he found out that it wasn't real, and he had to, he returned it, and the guy that he bought it from was like, "Oh my god, I had no idea." But
Yikes.
in any case, people have been latching onto that of just like, did he get that job back then?
Yeah.
And he'd been, preparing for it. So who knows?
I mean, the only thing that makes me think they're gearing up to something Miracle Man. I mean, obviously they're doing something with Miracle Man, but something sooner than later was the last page of Timeless.
Oh, right.
with
That came out.
The Miracle Man logo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've had in previews, I've seen a lot of Miracle Man variants.
Yeah, they did
So
they did
they're
a
really
whole
gearing up.
series, and then obviously Gaiman and Buckingham are currently putting out the end of their
Run, yeah.
in progress run.
It makes sense to me that the way you introduce Miracle Man is in the last issue of Jason Aaron's Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
the
because
Avengers finale thing.
Because he's doing
yeah.
like multiverse stuff and like kind of this weird, other world kind of thing, and to throw him in at the end because Jason's done,
Mm-hmm.
and have Miracle Man be there, like kind of like a fourth wall thing of just like, reading the last issue of the
Yeah.
Avengers thing, just like, oh, that was fun, and then like, they
Time
make
to go fuck shit up.
They make their announcement there, or he's just like, I have to fix all this now,
Yeah,
like something like that.
that's kind of what I thought they might be doing with All Out Avengers. Are you guys reading All Out?
No.
All Out. So All Out is only like one day in the universe of the Avengers, right? Like it's just a crazy day that the Avengers have.
Yeah, but there's that whole like running thing where like somebody is doing this to them, and
right.
they don't know that it's happening to them, but they're
Right.
starting to figure it out. Like we as a reader know, but
That's
they
right.
they don't know.
That's right.
So
That might be a Miracle Man thing.
that's kind of what I thought was like maybe All Out Avengers is like Kid Miracle Man messing with the Avengers, and then they're gonna have Daddy Miracle Man come and fight him.
Oh,
Because that happens in Miracle Man the comic series. So anyway.
could have fooled me.
It's funny that all these like Todd McFarlane, Neil Gaiman disputed characters ended up on or are ending up on Marvel.
Angelina
Because that
and
was
Miracle Man.
and Miracle Man. Yeah, I don't know if they were part of the same legal battle or if that was like a second legal battle with McFarlane and Gaiman. Those guys apparently fucking hate each other after all that.
They do now.
Yeah.
I just watched a YouTube video. I'm glad you said this about that whole thing with Miracle Man and Spawn and the characters that Gaiman created for Spawn and all that stuff. Whatever. The thing that blew my mind about that was in that courtroom case, there's a Spawn number 9 that was used as evidence because that's the first appearance of
Angela, sorry. I don't know why I say Angela.
And Cagliostro or whatever, the like mentor guy.
Yep.
Anyway, whatever. There was a kid in the audience of that courtroom, and McFarlane and Gaiman signed that book and gave it to the kid in the audience. So somewhere out there,
there's one signed by both of them that kicks ass.
That was used as evidence in the case.
So it's like courtroom evidence.
Where was the CGC guy then?
Yeah,
It has its own plastic bag.
Yeah.
Well, they can verify it if it's footage, if there's video footage of the case.
There is, and there's a picture of them standing next to it with the kid, like,
holy
thumbs
shit.
up.
Get it CGC'd in the plastic case of, like, evidence.
Can you imagine?
That's cool. It's awesome that they were like, hey, we do this for kids and comic book fans. Let's put aside our differences and, like, do something cool for a kid here. That's fucking great.
If I was that kid's dad, I would have yoinked it out of his hands.
I still think, say what you want about any of those guys for any of the reasons over their long, long comic book careers, but I'm still a huge fan of both of them, and I think they're both very kick-ass people. It's a shame that they've got some disputes and differences, but I'm a fan.
As goofy as McFarlane specifically is. I mean, clearly the dude loves the comic book medium, and
he's done some cool things.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's rad that Spawn was like $2.99 forever. It might still be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't buy it.
It was like $1.99 forever, or it's like always been the same price or something crazy. And I think there's some real big comic nerds who follow like every little thing very closely have a little bit of maybe beef or ill feelings towards him because of some of the like Image employees not feeling like they're being represented or given the right benefits or being treated fairly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, one of the Image guys.
If not the Image guy.
Right, exactly. So, I don't know. Hopefully all that stuff works itself out too.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
I don't know enough about it to say he's to blame or whatever, but I'm still a fan.
I have two little pieces of Marvel news myself. Number one, I saw that Darth Vader is getting a black, white, and red series.
Ooh, I love that.
Which is pretty cool.
That is rad.
It's the first one they've done with a Star Wars character. I think that's pretty neat.
Black, white, and midichlorian.
Yes. Perfect. And Jason Aaron is like headlining that.
Hell yeah.
It's another anthology series, so there's going to be a whole bunch of people involved. But I saw that.
Can't wait for all 80 covers.
Yep, exactly. And the other piece I saw was that this summer, maybe tying into Grootfall, that we talked about last week, they're doing a Groot mini-series that's going to finally explain the origins of Groot.
Yeah, so I think that does tie into Grootfall.
I'm sure it does.
So,
but Al Ewing is writing it, which...
Hell yeah.
Obviously. Marvel Cosmic is his baby.
Yeah, there are some Marvel origins that when you go back and look through like Marvel fandom, like everything's from Planet X.
Sure.
And you're like, I think Groot might be one of those things. And it's just like, you all can't be from Planet X.
Yeah.
If you're
Planet
gonna
X can't be that bopping.
if you're gonna make that planet canon in the Marvel universe, like you got clean that up somehow.
There's multiple
And they're
Planet
doing
X's.
it.
Yeah.
I'm getting what I wanted.
There you go.
So great. I'll take it.
I'm excited for Groot Fall. It's the same creative team that's doing Captain America: Sentinel of Liberty.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't even look into that.
Yeah, so it's gonna be fucking rad.
Yeah.
Those books have been great. So
And like I said last week, the cover art sold me.
Yeah.
So
From what the solicit said, they're just like going to new planets and meeting new alien races that haven't been explored yet in
dope.
Marvel Comics. So
Yeah.
a lot of first appearances coming for the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Can't wait to get all 80 covers of every issue.
Can't wait for the Disney one.
Yeah.
any other news?
I haven't had time to look in the news yet.
Okay.
We're doing house stuff, so
Have you been reading comic books?
I have. I got one for the episode that I'm very excited about.
I don't think there's a better time than now.
Double Greg is here. Double Greg is here. It's time for comic book. It's time for comic books. Hey, hey.
All right, he promised it.
Am I starting?
Yeah.
Okay, I read Black Cloak by Kelly Thompson. Christ alive. Double Greg, you idiot. I read Black Cloak by Kelly Thompson, which is her Substack book.
Yeah, right.
Put into print. It is a beefy boy. It's like a triple sized issue. It's
like a 64-pager?
It's fucking huge.
Okay.
I love, by the way, Image used to do that way more often. And I guess that's
Yeah.
more of like the creator's call because, again, these are creator-owned books. But, man, there's no better way to start an independent than a double-sized issue without ads in it. It's just so much easier to get familiar and excited about the world that the story's being told in when you know nothing about it going in.
Right. And all the issues are going to be that big.
So
'Cause
is it
there's
just
a
like
lot
a
of
four-parter, do you know?
I don't know for sure. So far there's 3 scheduled with I think more to come. I don't know if there's an ending. I guess it depends on if people buy it.
Yeah.
I love that format. Like Night of the Ghoul, 3 issues.
Oh right, yeah.
Big old beefy whatever they're
Basically like mini
$4.99.
trades.
Yeah. Give me more of that.
Seriously, like that, you get more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
You pay a little bit more up front, but
$15, 3 issues, and it's a whole story. Bing, bang, boom.
Did you read this digitally or was it a
I
paper
purchased
copy?
it.
Okay.
Paper.
Is it bound or is it stapled?
Stapled.
Stapled, okay.
Yeah. So you're fine.
I'm just wondering.
So it's Kelly Thompson and Meredith McClaren, and basically it is the Black Cloaks are like the cops of this fantasy planet we have found ourselves on. It starts out with like there was a great battle between good and evil, and good won.
Hey.
And so everything,
All right, good.
everything is good, but it turns out
Everything's good.
people get bored when everything is good.
Oh yeah, you
And
gotta have a purge every once in a while.
So, it's good for a little bit, and then people just go back to their ways of killing, cheating, and lying. And so the Black Cloaks are like these, they have this like, not predisposition, but like they're just really attuned to the creatures of this world and like solving crimes and stuff.
Okay.
And it's got a lot of heart, a lot of humor, kind of like dark humor, but it's just like a procedural, just like Law and Order, solving a crime, and you have to go through the list of all your nefarious folks in this world, and the world building is like incredible. Like, and that's what you get with these bigger issues. You have more time to really spread it out and to make that slow burn kind of cook really well.
I'm so excited to read this book. I'm a huge Kelly Thompson fan.
Mm-hmm.
We had her on the podcast once, and I overthought it because I was such a big fan.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been a better interview, probably. I'll take the
I
blame
tell you
for
this
that
all
one.
the time. It was a great interview.
She was so nice and so cool.
Even when you started crying, she was like, "It's fine, it's fine. I get this a lot."
Captain Marvel's like one of the, I think, finest books on Marvel right now. And I think she's kind of leading in an event right now by
That's right,
crossing
yeah.
over the Brood stuff
Yeah.
into the X-Men line, and there's going to be like a little bit of like a mini or like a few issue crossover that they're going to do, which I'm excited about. I hope I could see. We even told Kelly this when she was on the podcast that like I think we asked her if she was interested in doing an event or something like that, and she was like, I don't think they'd ask me to
Which is stupid.
helm an event.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we were all like, we think that. I was
Yeah.
like, we're all like, yeah, you're like fucking awesome. Like I could totally see you doing that. So I'm like, maybe this is one of those things now where, you know, we've had big Jason Aaron events and Donny Cates events
Yeah.
for a while now. Same with all like the X-Men crew with the Hickman stuff and Duggan. And it would be cool to have Kelly write a great big event just because she does have a different like tone that would I think feel a lot different and maybe not so. That's one thing I do like about Duggan events is that they're not so serious and heavy
Oh, sure.
as some of the other Marvel comic book events, that they just take themselves a little less seriously. That's not everyone's cup of tea.
Right.
I know like some people read some of the like Ten of Swords books that I think that he in particular was writing and was like, these are too goofy, and I expected this to be
You can't please everyone.
a really serious, heavy thing. And it was like, man, I loved those goofy issues. It was so much fun.
Go read DC.
Seriously. And like Kelly Thompson, I think you guys will agree, she writes the most believable dialogue I've ever seen in modern comics. Like the way that her characters go back and forth, like her and like Leah Williams, like
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I'm like, they should write a masterclass of like how to write conversations in comics. It's just so effortless and like organic. I love reading Kelly Thompson books.
Yeah.
And so this book is like I said, slated for 3. Hopefully there's more. So go out and buy this from Image. In the back, it kind of gave a brief overview of like more books coming from Kelly Thompson from Image. She's going to be busy in 2023.
I'm so stoked
with
she's
Kelly
doing
Thompson books.
create her own stuff.
She has like 2 or 3 more books besides this
Yeah.
coming out this year on Image.
This was another thing we asked her that was like, how do you like when she was doing Star, and it was like, how do you get your hands on an Infinity Stone for one of your stories? Is that like pushed upon you, or did you have to like ask the powers that be if you could tinker with it? And she kind of was like, well, it's a whole damn thing. And kind of like explained like how, you know, they have those meetings and they talk about some of the bigger initiatives and stuff. And I think you could tell that like some of that stuff is like, you gotta like they're going out and we gotta work it in. And my mind just starts to like wonder and reel, like, you know, has Kelly Thompson been truly unleashed as a writer?
No, I don't think she has.
Have a lot of, you know, people that we traditionally know as Marvel and DC creatives like been like fully just let off the chain to like go buck wild on a book and really write their vision? Like, I don't know. So I'm just like super stoked to see what she does independently.
I honestly think that if like Kelly Thompson and Vita Ayala and like Tini Howard were like unleashed on Marvel, like they would produce some of the most mind-bending books of the last 5 years. Like, I feel like those writers have been like, you know, utilized at Marvel and DC, but you can tell from like their indie stuff, like they're not being used to their full potential on like the mainstream publishers.
Look at how long it took Trad Moore to get a Doctor Strange book.
So, totally.
Like,
yeah.
As soon as Ghost Rider came out, I was like, oh, he's going to do Doctor Strange, right? And then like 15 years later, he's finally doing it.
Right. I mean, and I think before that he did Silver Surfer, and
Yeah,
you're
Silver
just
Surfer
like
Black, yeah.
and like I've said this 100 times on Twitter and stuff. It's just like, let Trad Moore do more shit. Like Unchained. Like he is a fantastic artist that's like making weird visuals that fit in with Marvel.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much DC, but like really fits in the Marvel mold of just like wacky shit.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, ongoing Hellstrom comic by Tradmore and Tradmore.
That may be a tough sell.
No, not in Andy Vargas's Marvel.
I wonder how well the Tradmore Doctor Strange book is selling.
Interesting question. We
Well,
can figure that
3
out.
out of 3 people at this table bought it.
Yeah. Reading it, I had a moment. I think I texted you guys afterwards. I was like, I don't know what happened. But it was definitely like, I think one of us, if not me, said it was just like a blacklight
Yeah.
poster version of comics.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
it was just like, it's maybe not meant to be like dissected. It's just kind of like,
Yeah.
soak it in, man. It's wild.
Yeah.
I think it is like
That's-
a trip of like
Yeah.
it's ethereal. I think there's more at play than what you get from the first 2 issues. I think he is like traversing the death sphere. Like he's dead, and this is the in between time from when he is brought back eventually.
Yeah.
and is what I'm assuming.
But what happens within that? I don't.
It can be anything because it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Like it's just a moment in time where no one sees it except for Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
But
man.
it was cool. Exactly right. That's the tone of voice we need while discussing this book.
man.
Dave's not here, man.
Did you see that blacklight poster comic that they made, man? Oh, sweet.
Dude, if they did a blacklight version of that first issue,
Oh, like with the
like Radiant
inks and
Black
stuff?
did,
Yeah.
I'd buy it. $10.
for sure, yeah.
Same. That'd be sick.
But
Sick.
that's the book I read from Image Comics, Black Cloak. It's good.
Yesterday, I read 10, count 'em, 10 dark web tie-ins.
Oh God.
Your web is so dark right now.
My web is
I know.
as dark as it's ever been.
Such an inky hue.
Strange it ever was. I don't know that I have a lot to say about it.
That's not good.
Well, not good or bad. It was just like I'm reading a ton of tie-ins. It's fun. I'm a big New Mutants fan,
Mm-hmm.
and New Mutants were a big part of the X-Men Inferno stuff that happened in the 80s, and it's fun to see Inferno kind of come back in a way through Madeline Pryor being in Limbo again, and there's a part of me that like hates clone stuff in Spider-Man and a part of me that loves clone stuff in Spider-Man. And this particular one is hitting me in the feels the right way, I think.
Right in the nostalgia.
Yeah. I like seeing Ben Reilly as a bad guy. I like the pairing of Madeline and Ben as clones who are tossed aside. They've got like very similar origin stories. So it's been a trip and it's been kind of a fun ride. The biggest surprise was, have you guys read that Mary Jane Black Cat?
Oh, she has powers now.
Yeah. Mary Jane has like
Is it luck? Is it like luck powers?
No, they're not luck. Well, kind of. So
Like Domino?
you see, it's not like Domino.
She always hits on scratchers.
Let me finish, guys. It's like a casino. What do you call the
Slot machine.
slot machine sort of thing, where she kind of like needs assistance or something or a power, and you see like slot machine graphics pop up above her head.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes she hits on something good and sometimes she hits on something bad. So she might turn into goop or she might have like amazing fire powers. And we have no clue
What's happening?
how she got those powers yet. And she was like, I don't want to say anything. But it was a really fun
I'm a robot.
it was a really fun reveal, like out of nowhere, that like, oh shit, Mary Jane has powers.
And Fox News didn't have a problem with that.
I looked it up on eBay because I was like, are people going like bonkers? Like, oh, first Mary Jane Watson with superpowers. And there's still plenty of this book. Cover price, not a key thing.
Yeah.
Or people aren't considering it a key issue. So
Well, she's had powers before.
she's had, well, she's Spinnerette in another universe.
She had spider powers. Well, the entire city of New York had spider powers during Spider Island.
Yeah.
This is true. She's had
What was
Iron. She's been Iron Spider before.
Yeah.
But I don't think proper 616
MJ.
Mary Jane has had powers unique to herself before this.
Her own power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has the powers to bring Spider-Man to his knees.
They're
That's for sure.
they're at least like it was really original in the way that it's portrayed on the page is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still Jed McKay writing that series?
Yes.
God, so good.
He did a really great backup
We're all Jed heads here.
of just Black Cat too.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of more like, it felt like nod to my Black Cat people as like a bonus to the MJ book.
Black Cat has had a little bit of a renaissance in the last few years. Like she's been utilized a lot more, and I feel like her books have been more successful.
Big part of the Star storyline, and there was like an Infinity Score thing.
When she was used a lot in the King in Black.
Yeah.
She had like a tie-in there that was like 3 or 4 issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that was fun. She had a symbiote. She's had they had that Iron Cat
Yep.
book recently.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those things where everyone loves that character. And
J. Scott Campbell can draw the hell out of her on a cover.
and people love J. Scott Campbell
Wowie.
and will buy. There are people who will just buy any J. Scott Campbell cover for sure. It's wild to me that it took so long for there to be like a Black Cat solo title. But I think a big part of, if you're considering this like a Black Cat renaissance or anything, it's credit to Jed McKay for handling that series really well. Because it could have just disappeared into obscurity,
Oh,
and
for
I don't
sure.
think people would have been as excited about it. But with MJ and Peter being on the skids too recently, that Felicia Hardy romance is heating back up again.
Blossoming.
So I love to see that as a classic Spidey fan. It's just fun to see some of those older storylines get revisited.
Does that create tension between MJ and Felicia and the Mary Jane and Black Cat?
Well, so I've only read the first Mary Jane Black Cat.
Okay.
And Felicia tries to bring it up and gets interrupted. So we're going to see.
Oh.
We are going to see.
I hope they kiss.
Thruple. Hey, listen, if the X-Men can do it.
Yeah.
Is that all you read? Your dark web tie?
All I read.
Yeah, you read 10 of them. Give the man some
10
credit.
issues. I read 2
give me
X-Men
a
tie-ins,
break.
and that's another one. The Duggan X-Men tie-ins were like so silly, and they were just like a breath of fresh air. Not that I liked the other issues, and they were all great, but those issues in particular were just so fun.
Yeah. Kick ass.
Yeah.
Well, I read 3 books. One of them I still have yet to digest, and I might write a review of it.
Ooh.
I guess I read 4 books. I also got an advanced copy of Local Man, and that
From
book,
Tim Seeley.
yeah, that book slaps hard, you guys.
Now, can we not talk about that one yet? Because it hasn't come out.
No, it doesn't come out till February,
Okay.
but
But we know what happens.
I know what happens, and that's definitely getting a written review.
Hell
But
yeah.
I had to say on air that my theory confirmed. Local Man rules. So, what I did read was this isn't a first issue, but
Get up.
it counts. It's Flash 790, so it's close to a first issue.
This is the thing.
If it's under 1,000, it counts as the first issue.
We have to make an exception for DC Comics because they just don't reboot their numbering all the time.
just
Well, yeah. Otherwise,
Which-
we'd just be talking about 100 Joker books.
Which I'm fine. I pitched that idea.
Oh, the sequel to 3 Jokers is 300 Jokers.
Oops, all jokers.
Which I'm not complaining about. I love the legacy numbering. It does make it a little harder to know like when it's maybe a good jumping on point unless you follow like
Comics.
previews like really closely. But
Well, this does have a nice banner at the top that says 1 Minute War begins here.
okay, that is awesome.
So, Flash 790, I didn't know the team, but I thought the premise of this mini event sounded pretty interesting. It's by, here we go, Jeremy Adams and Roger Cruz. So the premise is that there's this alien invasion, and what I am assuming is they have tapped into the Speed Force somehow and are able to utilize it, because they one random day in the middle of wherever Central City, time stops for everyone except members of the Flash family, right?
Yeah.
And this alien race crashes a big giant pillar right in the middle of the city, and nobody's doing anything except for, Flash and friends.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the only ones that can do anything about it because they're the only ones that can move.
Let me ask you this. Are they only able to move at normal speed because their like Flash speed is?
Yeah, so that's what's wild. They haven't shown them using their powers during the slow-mo yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
they might not be able to.
Well, what's crazy is that
or they are using their powers and that's what's making them move.
Are the
regular
aliens
speed.
fast?
That's what I don't know yet. I don't know if the aliens are fast or they have made everyone else slow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
An alien race of like turtles like invades.
But that's why I'm assuming they have access to the Speed Force somehow.
Yeah.
Right? Is that they are manipulating whatever. If they make everybody else slow and Flash can just move fast because he can move fast.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it doesn't show them like activating their power or whatever. So anyway, presumably the whole story takes place over the course of 60 seconds because it's called the 1 Minute War. And I think that premise is
that's killer.
Yeah,
dope.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
right?
that's really cool.
Yeah, because time just stops for
I love
everybody
that.
I
else.
love that. That's cool.
Yeah. So that's why I picked it up.
So they'll stretch that into like what, 50 issues?
Well, that's the whole thing. It's twice monthly now.
Oh God.
So next week, the second part comes out.
Second number 2.
Yeah. So that's 791 is part 2. 790 is part 1.
So you think this is like wrap up by 800?
Probably. And there's also like a Minute War special coming out and, whatever.
God bless the Flash for sticking to the bit.
Dude, I every once in a while I go back and I pick up like these Flash events.
It's got to be speed related.
Well,
It's not like
that's what he's got.
a test of like smarts or brawn. It's just like,
Hey, sometimes the Flash is smart. He's a cop. He's a forensic cop.
oh, all cops are smart. Okay.
ACAS. All cops are smart.
Hey, Cass.
Anyway, Flash 790, thumbs up. It's good stuff.
I'm into that
That's
concept.
a kick-ass idea.
Yeah, I love it.
I love that.
I know, right? So
Oh,
you
is
guys
that
were-
Mosley?
Yes, it's Mosley. This is the other one I read. This is Rob Gilroy.
Mm-hmm.
Guillory. Sorry, I always do that. The guy who did Chew.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so this is his book. There's a lot.
The artist from Chew.
The artist from Chew.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, because Layman wrote it.
did, yeah.
There's a lot going on in here. So it starts out as one thing and changes to a completely different thing. It takes place in a world where robots have like made it so that people don't have to like do anything.
Oh, Utopia.
Well, utopia for everyone, but
Robots.
The titular Mosley,
Oh. Who's a robot cleaner?
who is he's a janitor at a school actually.
Oh, okay. A robot school?
There are robots at the school, but it's for humans.
Double Greg is back.
So this is like a utopia but dystopia. It toes that line, right? And there are hints at both the beginning and throughout the book that he somehow was like the guy who taught the robots how to be people. Like he turned the AI on. Because the book opens with him like participating in a 1-year program where he like lives with a robot and teaches the robot what it means to be like a person.
It's like a study abroad program.
It kind of is, right? But
Yeah.
with a robot in a house.
Sure.
So presumably we'll get more of that backstory. But in the first issue, spoiler alert, kind of not really, he dies.
Oh, what the?
And he
Is
is
this a one shot?
No, he's resurrected and given a magical hammer, like on the cover, and is given orders by some sort of extra human deity to break the people free from their chains of digital
Robot servitude?
robot. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I know, right? That's what I said. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, that is a lot going on.
But it's great. You really get a feel for like who this guy is, and I want him to like be happy, and then he dies.
Mm-hmm.
But then he comes back as a kick-ass dude. So
that's awesome.
It's pretty fucking dope. I don't know how long it's gonna go. I am kind of presuming that it's gonna be a mini, but I could also see it going on longer. I picked it up off the shelf just because I thought the cover was rad.
Yeah, it's a sweet ass like Virgin variant.
Yeah, I got the reveal.
The FOC reveal.
Yeah,
cover?
the FOC
Nice.
reveal. So it's dope. It's got great art. It's got a great story. He also wrote a little, paragraph, whatever. There's some back matter about like what he was going through when he wrote it, and it's in response to like, oh, people are on their phones all the time, that kind of thing. So expect a lot more of that out of this, but I picked it up randomly. Glad I did. It was really good.
Tell you what, if there was a guy that got resurrected and got a magical hammer, I would put down my phone.
Yeah, for sure.
And I wouldn't pick it up again because I don't want that dude coming after me.
No, you'd smash it with the hammer.
Yeah. See ya, Candy Crush.
Can crush this.
Is that what you'd miss the most? Candy Crush?
If I had to lose my phone, what I would miss the most is probably Merge Mansion. I've had that for a couple years, and I've gotten pretty far in the game.
Merge Mansion?
Yeah.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, it's like a matching game, and like you unlock other portions of the property, and you can build things. It's a nice little game to play in the toilet.
I would miss... Well, I guess I could do eBay on a desktop, but... Man, would I miss having eBay at my fingertips on my phone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. My wallet would love it.
Well, that's for sure.
I'd miss CLZ, you fools.
Oh, God. I would be fucking
CLZ, the greatest thing
pissed.
on earth.
I just spent a week entering comics. I'd be so mad.
And then some guy comes along and smashes your phone with a hammer.
I guess it's in the cloud.
That's
By the
true.
way, the thing we can talk about on the Patreon, CLZ did email us. They heard our episode.
What?
We'll talk about it on the Patreon.
Oh,
This is a real thing.
They're like, stop it, you assholes.
No, they were very nice. We'll talk about it on the Patreon.
okay, cool. Speaking of the Patreon, we've got... I have a game we might play.
I have a list we might do.
And Greg has a list we might do. God, have you ever heard a better teaser than that? So tune into the Patreon, what our Patreon followers often call the better of the two First Issue Club shows.
The better option.
Is the one behind the paywall with
Obviously.
with 20 fans. So join
And
us
counting.
and counting. So join us over there if you'd like to hear the better version of this, where we get a little sillier.
Yeah. Double Greg will be there. I'm positive.
All right. Later. First Issue Club is edited and produced by Mike DeStacy, Greg Lichtag, and Andy Vargas. Follow us on social media at First Issue Club, and check out our Patreon for videos, audio, and more at patreon.com/firstissueclub.